Hello coders, this is Jared with Renaissance Coders, and today we are going to take a look at the Epic Games Launcher. Now, for those of you who are moving over from Unity, the Epic Games Launcher might not make a lot of sense. But there are several benefits to having the launcher instead of direct engine installation. Okay, so as you can see here, I've actually got the launcher pulled up. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at the launcher and cover the panels of the launcher. When you open the launcher, you are typically going to be on the community page, which is this page right here. Okay, and if you don't know how to open the launcher, the easiest way to do it on a Mac is just Spotlight Epic, and that's going to pretty much always show the Epic Games Launcher. Or you can go down to your applications, and it should be Epic Games Launcher right there. So that's sorted alphabetically. And once you do either one of those, then you should end up here. Okay, so back to the community panel. There's a lot of links on here. You know, if you go in and you just first take a look at it, you can see just a lot of like blog posts, tutorials, links going all over the place up here. We've got the Answer Hub, forums, wiki, the blog. You know, there's just all kinds of links going out. And so personally, I don't really check this a lot. You know, I mean, when you come in to Epic Games Launcher, usually they've got the most important thing up top anyways, so you're always going to see that when you first log in. And they're pretty good about doing push updates to where, you know, if a new version of the engine's released, you're probably going to notice, you know, an exclamation point somewhere, or actually I think it's on the library, or I can't really remember where they do that, but okay, so that's pretty much going to do it for this one. You know, I mean, just know this is here. I guess if you don't want to go through Google, you can come through the Epic Games Launcher and click on Answer Hub or forums, but typically what I'll do is when I have a question, I'll go to Google, type in the question, and you know, you may very well end up on the forums or the Answer Hub. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is on the Learn panel. And if you just hover and click on it, then you go to the Learn panel. As you can see, this one's sort of formatted like the community panel. It's where we've got a lot of sort of links and sort of information going out to other places. You can see a lot of different samples, you know, a lot of different tutorials out here. So I mean, I suggest going through it, maybe just looking at it. One cool thing that they do have is they have quick start guides based on the job that you're working in. So if you're an artist, they've got a quick start guide, a level designer, programmer. And then they've got just their basic getting started. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of great information on here, and I believe most of this is on their website as well, or on YouTube, so you may want to check those out as well if you don't feel like going through the Epic Games Launcher for that. Okay, so let's go and look at the marketplace. And this is where you can get assets that you can pull into the engine and use in games, right? So they've got like a lot of free stuff, a lot of stuff you have to pay for. There's a lot of stuff basically on here. I mean, it's a lot like the Unity asset store if you've been in there, to where people can release assets onto the store and you can go and buy them or check them out. And you know, there are quite a few free ones that are pretty awesome, and then there's some that are, you know, obviously cost money. So we are actually going to be using marketplace assets for our tutorials, so that way we don't have to go through the creation process of static meshes and normal maps and texturing and everything like that. But luckily Unreal did release the Infinity Blade assets, and if you haven't seen those, you know, they're actually really cool. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go up to the top, and I actually just wanted to cover this really quickly before we do that. You can sort the marketplace by category. So if you're looking for animations, you can click on animations. It's going to load on the bottom here, and then just pull up animations. You know, so you can click on here, and then kind of looks like Rey from Star Wars. Yeah, so there's just a whole bunch of animation packs in here. You can do environments, and this is just going to pull up environmental packs and, you know, all kinds of cool stuff. And then if you want to go back to home, you just click on home. You can also sort based on new content. So if you do that, it's going to just pull up the new stuff. And you may be noticing this is exactly the same thing that was on the home page. So if you want to, you can actually use this back button as well, and it's going to take you back to the home page. If you were previously on the home page, the back button actually works like a browser. But so this is the recent additions. So this is exactly what we were just looking at when we clicked on new content. Okay, so we're actually going to go ahead and search for the Infinity Blade assets. So if you just type in Infinity Blade, then you should end up looking at these guys. And there's a lot of these assets on here, and as you can see, I've got them all because they all say owned. They're all free. They were released by Epic Games, and they're really cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go in and take a look at them really quickly so we can take a look and see, what the actual asset pages look like. And so this is typically what an asset page is going to look like. This is the Infinity Blade Firelands. It says it's compatible with my current version, which is 4.13.1. We've got a quick description, the technical details, contact, all this cool stuff. So you can actually click on the images, make them a lot bigger, just sort of go through those, and then they do this really cool thing where they sort of outline multiple assets like this. And most packs that I've seen have done this. And that's sort of like almost that actually looks like all of the different assets for this pack. What's interesting there is it says it's Windows specific, but I'm actually running it on a Mac. So let's go back and take a look at the warriors. Now let's look at the adversaries. So if you click on that, it's loading. Sometimes the marketplace can take a little while to load inside of the Epic Games launcher. There we go. Okay. Now this is just pulling up the Infinity Blade adversaries. Again, it's got a lot of the same stuff on here. And then you can go again and just click on here and just see sort of I think that's all of them. And then you can do... So this is their breakdown of monsters, frost giants. It's a big scary gorilla wolf. That's a gorilla wolf too. Looks like scary stuff. And then we're back to all of them again. So yeah, I mean, they just do these really cool sort of screenshots, and I think a lot of those come with animations. I think they do. I'm not totally sure if they do come with animations or not, though. Don't hold me to that. We'll take a look at it when we pull it. Wait, let's see. Skeletal meshes. So it doesn't actually say any animations. So it looks like these don't come with animations. But we'll be covering how to get animations in a little later. Okay, you may have noticed over here there's an add to project button. So if you click on this, if you click on this, then it sort of pops up the different projects you've got pulled up. So right now I've only got 3 projects that are being recognized by the Epic Games Launcher. I actually have several others, but actually I wonder what show all projects will do. Nothing. Okay. So don't add. But yeah, if you're going to add to project, you want to do that. And then let's just find another free one real quick. And then I'll show you what it looks like if you're looking at VR Pawn. I don't know what this is. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, so this is just a common virtual reality interaction functions. So what you can do here is you can actually just, since it's free, you just click on it and then it should download to your library. Speaking of the library, that's the last panel we're going to go to. So what you can do to get to the library is click on it, and that's going to take you to this page. Now, if you don't have any engines downloaded, and you don't have any projects, and you don't have anything in your vault, then my library page is going to, or panel is going to look significantly different from your own. And that's okay because you're just starting out. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the engine versions. So you can have multiple versions of the Unreal Engine running on, well, installed on your computer. And so as you can see here, I've got 4.13.1, which is the latest version, and I've got an older version, 4.10.4. And the reason I have this older version is because I was working in a project that needed this older version because of some dependencies. And it's pretty cool that you can just very quickly add an engine. So if you look up here, there's this plus add engines button. You just click here and it's going to pop this new little icon up here, and it's going to show the engine version. As you can see, it defaults to the most recent, besides the one that I've actually got the most recent, so it's the next most recent, which is 4.12.5, and you can actually go older if you wanted to. You could go all the way to 4.0 to 0.2, but I'm not going to add a new engine because the engines are quite large. So if I just remove that slot, then looks like I found a little bug there. Little artifact still showing up. But if you look over here, you can see how much space these engines are actually taking up, and just these two engines are 23.9 gigs, so it's about 12 gigs per engine. Okay, the next thing we're going to take a look at is the My Projects section. And as you can see, I've just got 3 basic projects set up here. When you hover over a project, it'll give you the compatible version and the path to the actual project. So that's pretty useful if you are trying to drag and drop stuff into the project, or if you've lost your project path somewhere along the way, then it's pretty easy to go to it and find it. And if you actually have like a lot of different projects, you can search through them pretty easily. The other thing that I wanted to point out is it actually has the version as well, just as a quick glance on the bottom right hand corner of these images, so you know immediately what version that you're going to be working with. Okay, so the last section we're actually going to talk about is the vault section down here, and as you can see, this is just all of the assets I've got on my computer. So I've got the Infiltrator demo, I've got all the Infinity Blades assets, and the Mixamo animation pack, which is really useful, and the Substance plugin. Now what you may be noticing is that each of these buttons, or not each of them, but some of these buttons are a little bit different. And so the add to project means that I've already downloaded it and installed it to the engine. That's basically what that helps to do, is speed up pulling up the assets inside of a project, and you can just add to project and then add it in. So pretty cool stuff. The other thing here is the install to engine. So you can choose which engine you actually want to add it to. It looks like it's only going to be added to 4.13. I'm assuming that's because it won't work with 4.10. So let's see. Actually, it says it should. You know what? That's because I've already added it to 4.13. So that's why, or to 4.10, so that's why 4.10 was not showing up there, because it's already been added to 4.10. So, okay. The last thing that I really want to talk about is opening up a project from the Epic Games Launcher. And the easiest way to do that is to just select one, double click it, okay? And that's going to launch the respective engine, or the compatible engine with that project, and then it takes a little while for UE4 to start up, but it will start up your project, fairly quickly. The other thing you can do is, if you're creating a new project, then you just come up here to launch. So if I'm going to go ahead and do that, click launch. So basically all this is going to do is initialize and start up the editor for you. So I'm just going to pause the video and then pick back up when it's done. Okay, as you can see, the startup finished, so it launches this window, which is the Unreal Project browser, and it just has your different projects in here. The projects that you have associated with Epic Games Launcher, and then you can filter your projects, refresh, check the marketplace, or you can do the new project, which is what we're going to do now. So what you want to do is actually just do a blank project, desktop console. You can use maximum quality or a lower quality if you wanted to, scalable 3D or 2D, and make sure that you are pulling in the starter content. Now the starter content is fairly large. It's about 500 megs on its own, but for the purposes of these tutorials, we're going to be using this as well as some of the Infinity Blade assets. The last thing you want to do is make sure that you put your project somewhere where you can easily find it later. So I've got just a quick RC tutorials, which is where I'm saving my tutorials project, and then you can name it. So make sure you name it something that's pretty meaningful, right? And then just click on the create project. I actually already have a project, so I'm not going to do that, but once you click this, it's going to run through some more setup and then launch the actual editor. In our next video, we're actually going to do an introduction to the UE4 interface. Be sure to drop us a like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos, and as always, thank you for watching.